I'm Ralph Guzman, and I've been a foodie since I was 5 years old. I love food, I love cooking, I love writing about it, and of course, I love eating it as well. Most importantly, I love the way food brings people together. The way food nourishes and enriches relationships, the way it comforts people. This is what I would like to achieve in this project. Bringing people together, proving to the world that anyone and everyone can cook. And one, I believe, can cook the best dishes by simply being in touch with one's comfort zone. Sharing a family favorite, Osso Buco. Veal shanks softened to perfection, braised in vegetables and red wine. I just love Italian cooking. Aside from dishes being very delicious, they're actually very easy to make. And Osso Buco is no exception. It sounds intimidating, but it is very, very easy. And what you'll need as a main ingredient would be veal shanks, such as the ones I have here. And these are about 2.5 pounds of veal. And what you need to do first is to prepare it for browning. Because what you'd like to do is to get the flavors of the veal out before you really create the dish. So what you need first to do is to rub the pieces of veal with salt and pepper. And do this for all the pieces of veal. It's like giving them a massage, so to speak, going to the spa. After rubbing the veal with salt and pepper, you also need to rub each piece of veal with flour. It seals in the flavor of the veal, and you'll also use the flour that is incorporated with the veal to thicken the sauce of the Osso Buco later on. What I need to do next is to prepare the vegetables. And I'm supposed to use just 1 bulb of garlic for this recipe, but as a time saver, I'd like to already dice 2 bulbs or 2 heads of garlic so that we're able to use this for another recipe. Well, let's not forget the onion as part of the recipe, and I place it in the freezer so that when I chop it, I don't cry a river. See? No tears. I'm also adding carrot to the recipe. Now dice 2 ribs of celery. Well, the last vegetable on the list would be tomatoes. And so that you can enjoy tomatoes all year round, I prefer using canned tomatoes for this particular dish. And what I do so that it is finely mashed, and instead of really slicing the tomatoes, what I would do is to use a potato masher. That's it. All it took was a few seconds. After chopping all the vegetables and preparing the veal, we're now ready to put everything together. I'm already using the pressure cooker so that we're only just using 1 pot. So I'm first putting olive oil. So we now put the garlic. And then what we'd like to do is to brown the meat that we rub the flour on. In browning the veal, you don't want to crowd everything in one pot because they won't brown and instead they will just steam. And what you'd like really is a brown color to the meat. The aroma, oh, so fragrant. Well, the veal has now browned, and what we can do now is to put all the vegetables in the same pot because all the beef flavors are here and you don't want to discard oil, definitely. Adding more garlic, adding the onion, the carrots, and the celery, the tomatoes. About 2.5 cups of beef stock, 1.5 cups of red wine. I'm adding a dash of salt, more pepper. I am also adding our thyme and our rosemary. Add the brown veal back to the pot. What I will do now is to cook the veal using the pressure cooker. So I'm putting the cover and we'll leave it for about 45 minutes. Our goal here is to really use the pressure cooker to soften the beef or the veal. So moment of truth, it's been 45 minutes and it's time to see the finished product. You have to be very careful when you remove the cover of a pressure cooker because remember, all of the pressure is inside the pot. So, and what you do is to release the pressure. Very slowly. Osso Buco facial. Wow! Will you look at that? Friends, try it out. Osso Buco. It's oh so delicious. And I'm making creamy spinach spaghettini. Let your taste buds comfort and delight in the refreshing taste of spinach and the richness of cream cheese. For my next trick, I am making one of the easiest, simplest, yet one of the most delicious pasta recipes I have ever made. And this is a creamy spinach spaghettini. And for this recipe, well, very simple. Of course, you will need spinach. And in using spinach, you can either use fresh spinach, but I prefer using frozen spinach. And so the real thing, not to worry. And what I like about using fresh spinach really is that, number one, because it's frozen, you really don't have to worry about fresh spinach going into waste if you're not able to use it. And you'll see when we cook with it later how easy it breaks apart even without using a knife. For the noodles, I'll be using spaghettini instead of the usual spaghetti. I use spaghettini because it makes the creaminess of the recipe stand out all the more. For the meat, I'm starting with bacon, and I have here a Canadian double smoked bacon. It's full of flavor. I will do a mince. I have frozen shrimp here. Here's a challenge for many people. How do you remove the fishy taste of the shrimp? And what has always been foolproof for me is to make use of lemon. I'm using 6 ounces of cream cheese. Choose the best cream cheese possible. Go for Philadelphia. Other basic ingredients would include salt, pepper, and I'm using chili powder as well. Olive oil into the pan. Adding the chopped bacon. And just about the time that the bacon starts to get crispy, I would add the shrimp. Now just make sure that you don't include the juices anymore. I will add the garlic. Now this is where you need to be quick. This is where you need to put the other ingredients. So now, I'll be putting our spinach. I want to do it by hand because I don't want any excess water getting into the sauce. And I will be adding the cream cheese. I mentioned adding or putting around 6 ounces of cream cheese, right? Sometimes I use the whole bar. If you want a creamier, richer sauce, you can always diet tomorrow. I'm adding more olive oil. Don't forget your salt and pepper. So I'm now mixing everything together. The bacon adds beautiful smoke flavor, earthy flavors, and it's balanced by the shrimp. Certainly, I don't mind having this for dinner once a week.